This is the Daily Fire for January 16th. It's actually January 17th, but I'm doing a double, and this is to respond to writing by Russell Blair of The Current about 9 new laws that took effect October 1st, 2017. The article's in The Current from October 1st. So, number 9, sexting by children under 13. And here, they're making the penalty less harsh. I agree. This is different from sexting nude photos to children under 13 if you are older. That's where I do believe in pretty harsh penalties for adults corrupting children. There are plenty of other people that you can send your porn to who are willing and of age. Don't corrupt minors, okay? By the way, the people you send your stuff to, they're usually not impressed. As for children, they have gotten into, hopefully it's not yet a habit, a bad incident. And a misdemeanor, as opposed to a felony, gives prosecutors discretion. I hope that discretion is used something like this. The prosecutor sits the young boy, looks at him eye to eye, and says, "Young man, this is not how men treat girls. This is not decent. I'm going to chalk it up to a one-time mistake. I am not going to prosecute. If I see you in front of me for this kind of offense again, I will, and you will do jail time as permitted by the law." The state does have a responsibility to protecting minors, and so some penalty, hopefully used with flexibility by prosecutors, is proper. All right, number 8. Accommodations for pregnant employees. Employers are now required to provide reasonable workplace accommodations to pregnant employees unless they can demonstrate it would create an undue hardship. I'm opposed. I don't like the required of demonstrations. That's legalities. That's taking away the business of your business. And we have plenty of protection now. It's called fellow employees who make workplace conditions better. We are all sympathetic. We all want to make work less stressful for pregnant women. And 90% of employers already do. And most of the remaining employers would be receptive if just told, hey, you really should get a reclining chair for her. Hey, you really should adjust the temperature. For those few businesses who are unwilling to make reasonable accommodations, pregnant women and the men and women who sympathize with them have a better alternative. Leave. The modern marketplace creates good results. It enforces good behavior far better than legislation will. You are valuable, and general managers know that. Business people aren't generally ogres. They would lose most of their workforce if they were. Legislation here is not necessary. Stop working. Stop messing with private workplaces. All right, next, a small business hotline. This I am ambivalent about. It commands the Department of Economic and Community Development to establish a dedicated hotline to provide guidance to entrepreneurs and small business owners that includes information about how to get financial assistance from the state and the state's quasi-public agencies. Well, here's the good part. The good part is, if you're going to have a labyrinthine, convoluted set of rules by which some people can get benefits from the state, it makes sense to explain it to them. Make it easy to navigate these rules. The bad part is you're tying private enterprise to state government. That wrongly enmeshes the two. When you encourage businesses to rely on government, it's a bad direction. Even worse, it gives more impetus to make the state system more convoluted instead of making it simple. Now, I trust DECD more than I trust the General Assembly. I've met Commissioner Smith. She's been at this for 6 years. She's a former businesswoman herself. I think she's probably on the job without this legislation anyway, and I suspect it came at the behest of one or maybe two General Assembly members who had one or two constituents say, gee, I couldn't really navigate. And maybe they just couldn't read or wouldn't read the system. Let the system work without coming down by legislation. Number 7, civil asset forfeiture. A conviction is now required before property seized by law enforcement can be turned over to the state. That's a good thing, because prior to this law, police departments could sell on mere accusation. They could take property even though you were convicted of nothing. That is immoral. So I agree with this new law, but I would go further. Civil asset forfeiture, even for criminals, convicted criminals, is unfair. We punish criminals with jail time to, 1, get them off the streets and keep them from doing more, 2, to punish. We impound property at times to return to victims. That restitution is proper. Civil asset forfeiture is putting the property in the hands of the guys who are doing the busting. They're supporting police departments with the assets. That's wrong. I support police departments. I'd like to see more money going towards them, but it should be done directly. It shouldn't be done with this indirect forfeiture, because it encourages police departments to make more unreasonable busts in the interest of getting more money for their departments. All right, number 6, rescuing children from hot cars. This is a Good Samaritan law that I believe is proper. The legislature decided to provide immunity if you enter a vehicle to remove a child who is in danger, such as a young infant left in a hot car. I agree. Our law should encourage good behavior. We shouldn't be deterring people from doing good for fear that they get tangled up in legalities. Yeah, there's a chance that the infant you're helping, while you're rescuing her, contracts a cold from you. She'll recover. But there's no chance of recovery if an infant's brains are being baked at 120 degrees. The principle of Good Samaritan laws are worth expanding. I believe in tort reform. We need it. Look at what parents go through now. They're afraid of legalities. They're enmeshed in fear of legalities. They're fearful of becoming Little League coaches. They're fearful of becoming chaperones for trips. They're fearful of having outdoor events at their birthday parties. So long as a parent uses reasonable care, they should be protected against suit for hard-to-foresee injuries. Back to the Good Samaritan. One of our best Samaritans is the good guy trained in gun use. We should not be affixing penalties to somebody who is stopping a crime. The reluctant but willing gunslinger is your best protection when cops are not around. And they're rarely around. They can get there later and fill out a report. They can do autopsies, but they can't prevent crime nearly as well as a good guy nearby trained in the use of a gun. We need laws that exculpate him or her from suits against injuring a criminal doing an act of violent crime. I am all for this. Citizens' defense is our best defense. Thank you for listening. More on the next video. I'm Mark Stewart. Take care.